How's it going? What the show fans? We have some things to talk about this week. There have been so many movie announcements, Disney Plus, all that stuff. The shareholders. I had some things I need to bring up. So, Bob Iger goes through and tells us this entire slate, and we're just like, please, sir, tell us about cartoons. He is definitely one of the top 10 most powerful people in the world. And that's what we were paying attention to right there. Bob Iger has definitely killed a man. He's a billionaire. Actually, to be a billionaire, I think they actually make you kill somebody before you cross that line. See, you're approaching like $800, $900 million, and then some billionaire, any billionaire that we haven't heard from in maybe like 10 years or so, probably Richard Branson, sends a guy with a letter to your house as a sealed envelope, and he sends a Civil War pistol with it. You open up the letter and it says, if you don't shoot this man in the face, you're going to have to start paying taxes. I want to know those stories. I don't want to hear about Falcon and Winter Soldier or I don't know, the next Ant-Man movie. It all makes sense. Oh, hey.
What
here we go, clicking on all the wrong people here.
What are we talking? I thought we were talking about Schmoedown tonight. What
is going on, AJ?
I thought we were talking about movies tonight.
Millionaires getting hazed?
No, not millionaires, billionaires.
Billionaires?
Schmoedown. We finally decided to go full-blown Schmoedown, and you lead us with that?
That's
like people have asked us the whole time, are we a Schmoedown podcast? And we're like, not really, but tonight we are, and now we're getting off topic.
Sometimes.
Oh boy.
We schmoe.
We got some brief reactions there from our other guests tonight too. So I couldn't comb my hat in tinfoil, by the way. Sorry about that, Juice. But we'll talk Disney probably another week when things less important than Schmoedown are happening. So we have some authorities though tonight. Who do we have on the show tonight, Mike?
So, I think we just gave it away. So, but before we get to that, I think Juice has something to say.
That's right. Normally I'm like ready for the podcast. I've like prepared for 2 hours. My background set up to perfection hours in advance. Tonight was not the case. I was helping my buddy's uncle who lived in this like little studio apartment for like 22 years move. And you're talking about hoarders. You've never seen, there was a pile of clothes. There was a pile of clothes that was from the floor to the ceiling. We're talking like an insane amount of like just random stuff. But the best part is he had this little closet just full of things that that the neighbors could easily get access to and steal things from. So you know what this man did to protect his stuff? This man bought like 6 tomatoes and 6 potatoes, let them rot, stuck them in that closet for years. And when we cleaned that closet out, year-old rotten spoiled tomatoes and potatoes sprayed at us. We all almost barfed right in the hallway at that moment. I thankfully resisted and made it till I got outside. But that was what you had to do. That was the apartment of the survival of the fittest. If you don't have rotten tomatoes guarding your things, they get stolen. That's just how it is.
Who is stealing things in your home that rotten? I have so many questions.
I do not have those answers.
We've been in a studio for 22 years.
Well, that's also true.
So we have to segue out of this.
I'm pretty sure Jeff Snyder would be. I'm pretty sure if Spectacular this year took place, Jeff Snyder would be selling those tomatoes at the spectacular this year.
What would give you the best?
We have a
I already
digital
had some pretty valuable
spectacular
merchandise.
this year.
You know what? We're just gonna give up on this one.
Just bring them in. Let's get ready to Schmoedown.
Yeah. Let's get
to our buddies are back.
Bring you guys into this awkwardness. How's it going? All right, so we have the Barbarian, Craig. How's it going tonight?
All right. Cheers. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Don't smoke any rotten vegetables?
I've got I'm sorry, what did you say? No, but I did get I got attacked by a can of artichokes today, so my fingers wrapped up.
Yeah. I think I saw that can.
Yeah.
In the apartment today.
You should see the other can, so but yeah, but I'm treating myself to my favorite holiday beverage. I call this a white Christmas Russian. It's basically a white Russian, but instead of cream, I use eggnog, and it's fantastic.
Very appropriate.
Very holiday. That's festive.
That is
the holiday duck approves.
Craig, you're on segue duty for the rest of the night.
Of course, don't worry. Whenever you guys start talking about something that's boring, I will change the conversation. Guaranteed. I was going to do that anyway.
Nice.
That's fair.
We know how to keep Craig go. So
I do.
And not to be undersold. Go ahead.
We're not to undersold the what?
Frankie.
Please.
I was just gonna say, I was promised a Frank rant, and I would like to just let's start it off. I would like to know what we're ranting about tonight. Cheers to rants.
Yeah, was it about artichokes?
We'll get there.
This show is starting off so professionally.
Spectacularly. Ooh.
Oh, that's a good segue. See, speaking of spectacularly,
yeah,
let's talk about what happened to Spectacular this week.
Yeah, let's go right there. Well, what an event! 9.5 hours.
That was long.
It was very long. There were some upsets. There were some things that you could have called, but it still was surprising to see.
Right, start right at the beginning. We started right off with the Schmoedown, and well, that really didn't resolve.
What is everyone's Schmoedown theories?
It was like the Lost finale. It just brought more questions than answers.
Yeah,
I never watched Lost, but that's what I've heard.
I was very intrigued by that ending there. I'm very, I'm very concerned about what's going on in the league. Maybe I'm behind it. Maybe someone else is. I don't know. But certainly whoever's behind it got to have the pleasure of beating up Andrew Guy, and you can't really.
Yeah,
it is good to see him take violence, take what he's dished at so much.
He's been involved in so many violence moments of Schmoedown that it would be like a disappointment if it wasn't him. The tackle, the chair, 2 tackles, a chair shot. He's just prone to violence.
I mean, I guess we can officially confirm that Christian is not involved.
We've got that much.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Maybe Guy had bad information. We don't know. Guy thinks
True.
Christian isn't involved, but Guy also got lured behind the Skybound building to get attacked. So what did he really know?
Christian
Is
was
he
the
reliable?
mastermind behind corruption, right? So
yeah, Christian was behind. Yeah,
he hired the lawyer that.
I was surprised we didn't see him. He tends to show up every Schmoedown. Frank, what's his name? I can't remember his name. Christian's lawyer.
Paulie G.
Paulie.
Sounds right.
This is the first time. He didn't show up at the live one, but the past 2 spectaculars he had shown up at. Correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was half expecting to see him. I'm wondering if he's somewhere around. We haven't seen him in a long time. So
maybe he was in that mask.
And maybe it was him.
So many potential.
Skybound does have lawyers.
Yeah,
So one thing I'll say about this spectacular as opposed to last spectacular, because last spectacular was the first one that I saw. Like, I didn't watch it live, but it was the one that was like following in time. And that event seemed to have a lot of lopsided matches, whereas this one was very evenly balanced almost throughout. I mean, the only real blowout was Kevin Smith over Flirtenflaus, but what that match lacked in competitiveness, it made up for in just sheer entertainment value.
Fun, just sheer enjoyment. You know, and I've said for a long time, you know, you can watch 8 perfect games, but if you don't have something like that to break it up a little bit, the perfect games don't mean as much. But then you have Kevin Smith versus the Flirtenflaus. It's a perfect way to, you know, not necessarily ease the tension, but, you know, you can turn your brain off a little bit.
It's like at WrestleMania right before the title match, they have like a short match between, you know, an entertaining thing, you know. So I forgive me, I was in the middle of doing a bunch of runs when that happened, but if I'm not mistaken, Frankie Numbaz, did Kevin Smith have 100% accuracy that match? That's
add
him to the list. That's a total of 13 now.
Something like that. Yeah.
13 people in singles. Kevin Smith
he did go down multiple choice, though, right?
Yeah,
right.
Well, that's why it's 100% accuracy, not 100% PPE.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and like,
and then, I was going to say, you know, go right to the beginning. You know, you had the Star Wars match, and you had Alex Damon, who looked like he was going to almost like punch himself for missing one question in a speed round. You know,
I mean, in fairness, that was a very easy question.
Yeah,
but
that might have been one of the few I would have got right, but
I
under
think
the pressure, probably not.
What I think threw him off is that normally that question is phrased as how many Star Wars films did Harrison Ford appear in? And that answer is 5, and that's what they both said. But the question was Han Solo, and he is in Solo a Star Wars story without Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. The speed run, it gets to you. I was amazed that both of them missed that one, though.
Yeah, like
that was kind of.
And both of them had time on the clock too that they could have like thought it through, but they both immediately just snotted it out.
And the other thing there with Alex Dame is that if he doesn't even answer that question, if he doesn't even attempt an answer, he wins by knockout.
Yeah,
yep.
So, I think that's why he's really kicking himself.
There's that, but also I think he also wanted that perfect another back-to-back spectacular matches of perfect games like he had against Laura Kelly last year. And I've been wondering that had Alex Damon known the points at that point, because normally in a studio match you would know the point, you would know because it's 1v1 right there, and you can and you know when it's over when it's over. Yeah. Here, if he was aware of the score, if we had it that way, there's no reason why he would.
Yeah,
answer
that. Exactly.
Or he would have took all the time at least to be like just to double check his answer. But we'll never know.
Yeah, and by the way, it's not like that. It's not like a question like that shows any chink in the armor of Alex Damon. No. Right. Clearly, it's something he knew. Clearly, he is. I mean, as perfect as close to perfect as you can get in a Star Wars competitor. It's really amazing what he's able to do, and the fact that was his first Star Wars match of the year. Of the season. Yeah. It had been a whole year since he had a
super cold. Like, and I'm so let down by not let down by Ace, but I was really hoping that he'd take it because Ace for me was one of those stories of the beginning part of the couple months of COVID quarantine and seeing him triumph every week on Twitch and be that underdog story. I was pulling for him so hard. It's kind of heartbreaking. Okay. Same thing was the Flirtenflaus, by the way, because I think that was everybody's favorite part of the first month or so that we were staying at home. That was just I actually literally I caught the intro. I caught the intro promo for Brett at work. And I was still at work, and I screamed, "Flirtenflaus!" at the top of my lungs with customers in the store.
As you do.
Yes, it was phenomenal. It's just like so many great callbacks. I think it's almost like Spectacular for me will live as a time capsule of this year, and so many positive things that happen in Schmoedown because of it. Though,
Yeah,
that's a pretty fair way to put it, actually. And you had, it was the culmination of the entire season because almost the entire digital season was tournaments. So the whole thing built to Spectacular almost exclusively. There were very few matches, a handful that weren't tournament related once the actual season resumed on digital. So that's a really fair way to put it.
There were 3 that weren't tournament related. There was Janine versus
Janine,
what is it? The 3 undercards. Janine versus the Warfather. Well, technically 4 because Kevin Smith versus Jericho, and then you had
Stacey Howard,
Video Drew versus Jen Cap.
Yep, exactly. Those are the 4. Yeah.
But everything else led to Spectacular. So it really was a summation of the season, which we don't always get that, But what I also liked, also, not only did it sum up this season, but boy, did it open up next season. And that's very important, I think, in the grand scheme of things, because there's so many things to talk about going into the next season, especially with the Bateman and Riley, the Finstock exchange, which I think we'll hold on to that for a little while because we're going to go into that in depth, I think. But, and obviously the Star Wars, going back to that, that's a fun development too, because there's a potential now that we could have Damon versus Damon, which I think we all want to see at some point or another.
Yeah, but she's got a tough road ahead of her. She's got to face Laura Kelly, and that's gonna be a tough match. I dare not want to pick a side for that one. That one's gonna be very tough. And then, what's Alex Damon gonna do with DiMolanza? Is he gonna make it a triple threat, or is he gonna keep it a one-on-one match?
I think my guess with that. My guess with that is it's going to depend on who wins between Laura Kelly and Molly.
Yeah.
But of course, even then, it's like, as Alex Damon, do you want to face both of them and risk one of them playing you, or do you want to take them on one at a time and have to play a perfect game twice? It's
But then the other aspect is if I play 2 title matches, that's double the possible points. A triple threat match won't be nearly as much as 2 individual title matches. While I think don't quote me on this for sure. This is still being worked out by the league. Triple threat matches will be worth a set amount of points, not equal to and then it obviously that varies whether it's a title match or a regular 3-round match. That's all into the announcements. We can get into that later. But there is that strategy element if you're looking for points, and it depends, what they want to do with that. So while it might be, if Molly does win, let's say Alex Damon would like to face Molly in a title match, there's your opportunity to make it a triple threat. But at the same time, are you going to go for points, or are you going to go for, the situation, and maybe both go hand in hand.
Yeah. And also it's a matter of, if we get DiMolanza versus both Damons at the same time, that's almost like 2-on-1,
Yeah. It can look a lot like the match, the Shazam versus Merle match, essentially.
And then there's all the glory in the world if you're DiMolanza and you take down the Damons. You can be that guy. That's an eternal feather in your cap.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I get it.
Speaking of Shazam versus Merle, let's go back to the beginning, because that was the original event of the year back in Brooklyn, back in January, and that's before the whole world went to hell. And you see our name right now, 37 challenges, and that's pretty much inspired by that match, because it felt like every single question was getting challenged in that match. With Frankie, Bethany, and I were all in attendance for that. All of us there, the crowd reactions to all of those challenges was just increasingly more and more just frustration, but fun frustration almost. I don't know how to describe it properly.
Can I also just say that match led to my favorite quote of the year from the Schmoedown, which was yelled from Video Drew in the audience, which was, "How do you spell cat, Christian?" And that is probably my favorite quote of the year. So that holds a special place in my heart.
Same match, after the interview afterwards, where Kate said to Dan, "So how did it feel to dominate and have Natalie Portman?" I think that's got to be up there too.
Yeah. There were a lot of quotes.
Now, how do you spell cat? That goes back to actually a Looney Bin match from season 6.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, it's a great one. But she's the queen of callbacks though. Video Drew, comedic timing, one of the best personalities. But that entire event, man, I still love the picture of Bateman and Coy managing off on the sidelines, and they have their arms crossed and looking very official.
Pacing. They were both pacing the entire match.
It felt like a sports moment seeing them.
What AJ just said too is like, what AJ just said is the reason that you need to go to a live event. Things like that don't always make it on camera, and if you can watch all of that on the side, like watching Bateman and Coy was, you have this incredibly entertaining match going on, and you've also got the two of them, and nobody can see that on the stream because everybody's focusing on the match. You have to see it live. You really do. It's another experience, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we're gonna get that sooner than later. But obviously, that's all way up in the air.
I legitimately forgot, AJ, until you just mentioned the Star Wars tournament. That for a hot minute we were watching certain tournaments on Twitch. Like that's how much this year has been like a blur. I'm like, oh yeah, we were watching that on Twitch. Twitch. That's like the first and only time I've ever used it. So
Video Drew hosts a weekly karaoke night on Twitch on Fridays. I would say if you need now it's only going to last another 2 weeks because Twitch is sunsetting their karaoke app in 2 weeks. But these next 2 weeks, come on down. You'll see Video Drew. Lon Harris is usually there. I'm usually there. It's a fun time had by all on Friday nights.
I remember in like August or so getting billed for being subscribed to the Schmoedown like way past when they were done with matches, and I'm like, why am I still subscribed to the Schmoedown on Twitch? There's no more matches on Twitch.
Well, at that point, it was Murder Trivia with Emma. That was a thing. That was a delightful thing.
That was going on for a hot minute. Yeah,
those were good, but I think that was over.
Oh yeah.
Pretty shortly after the matches, but those were always
well. So obviously after Brooklyn, we finally did get a couple of studio matches. Craig, that's where you made your debut. Was it the first or it was the first one, right? The first set of tapings you made your.
Yeah, it was the first tape day. We taped it on February 1st, and my match I think was the last of those matches to actually air.
You aired the day before.
What'd you say?
We aired the day before the Atlanta live event.
Yeah, exactly.
We all watched it together.
Yep, exactly. It aired the day before Atlanta, which I was a little disappointed by because I felt like, and this is not, it's not nobody's fault, but just because of the timing of it all, when that day everyone was so concerned about Bateman versus Merle that my debut match just kind of got swept under the rug a little bit. But it is what it is. I feel like I felt like I had a bad run of that happening. I think one of my IG matches was the day before the Star Wars tournament finals, and then one of my other IG matches was the day that Sony was doing their big PlayStation announcement. It just seemed like every match ended up having like something much larger happening that kind of overshadowed it. But clearly people have watched the matches. Clearly I've gotten, respect and hype from those matches. So I can't actually complain.
Well, and I remember looking forward to that match because I was a huge movie fights fan, and Clee the Pimp Wiggins rocked the house in movie fights. So I was just like, you know what? I think she's got this. Oh, who's this guy coming into the league? Oh shit.
Yeah,
I'd still love to see more from her, but you definitely showed out and showed up, and I even think that before the pay-per-views, people get that hype of wanting to see the match before too. So I'd give it some credit, man. Good billing.
You did have
in terms of like the after shows, like the after shows immediately after. It's like, okay, we had some studio matches, but the pay-per-view, like the following week, the big news. The big news wasn't my match. The big news was the pay-per-view.
Yeah,
that was more of where I felt it for that one.
That match is going to outshadow anything.
Oh yeah, that was
Also,
one of the
there was,
big.
like, an
That's going to be a match of the year contender.
And you didn't.
It's getting my vote. That's still getting my vote. The Bateman Merle and Atlanta. I think that was the match of the year. And there's some really good ones too. But that one, just everything around that, the drama, the competitiveness. Tyler Perry 3-pointer. That was
freaking
heavyweights.
Mama Merle sitting by us was very sweet. I was like, oh, love Mama Merle. There's some perks to that.
When we get the match of the year candidates, how many of them are going to involve Dan Merle championship matches?
At least three.
Yeah, probably,
at least 3, maybe 4.
Probably a few.
Yeah.
Of them.
Like what would be the non-Merle matches? I think obviously you got the Star Wars tournament. You could put either DiMolanta versus Scrimshaw or DiMolanta versus Cabrera would definitely have to be in there. The finals of the the semi was the final exam versus it was Odd Couple final exam has to be in there. That was insanely high scoring. Obviously, the Inner Geekdom. Well, no, the one I wanted to say was actually it's the Patreon one, but anybody who saw the Lord of the Rings one, oh my God, the Lord of the Rings exhibition was. I thought we'd still be listening to those 2 answer questions like now.
Also, it was exhibition this year, I will say.
Speaking of which, Frankie, you competed in one.
Content.
I did.
Which one really?
Back to the Future one.
Again, you went toe to toe with the boat, the Brad of all time,
Mets, and Jay Washington.
Oh wow!
And you know what? I feel like even though it doesn't say on the scoreboard, I beat Brad. I did. And look,
I want you, but I believe you.
I was one. I had a rookie mistake, Greg. The question was, what's the name of the hoverboard that the little girl gets in Back to the Future Part 2? And I knew the brand name she had was Mattel, but I didn't listen to the full question. What they wanted to know was what's the board she gets after that chase and the crash and all that. And it's a Pitbull. And so that was the answer. And I said Mattel, not hearing the rest of the question. Had I listened to the rest of it, I would have known to say Pitbull. And then had that happened, I would have went into sudden death with Smets for that match. And that did not happen. So, and it's funny too, because at the time I was living with Smeds in Santa Monica, and we knew we were going to have this match, and so we were actually training together for this Back to the Future match for a couple weeks, and so we were always going at it in the apartment, testing each other, and here we were. I mean, it was so set up for a sudden death Back to the Future round between me and Smets, which would have been just a ton of fun. So. When he comes back, and I'm going to get Brad back, and we're going to do this all over again, run it back, and see if we can, do it all over again. So that'd be fun.
Speaking of these matches, these exhibition matches, I don't know how many people have seen the list of the new IG categories, but I was very excited to see the Jurassic Park films added to the IG categories because I believe wholeheartedly I have a leg up on everyone else. What'd you say?
Is that public now?
Abby Freeland posted something that somebody had posted somewhere else.
It wasn't supposed to happen.
Okay,
I'm pretty certain it leaked.
Yeah, that wasn't supposed to happen. As far as I'm aware.
Okay.
No, keep on doing. We've got 2 more viewers.
We know nothing.
Well, let's talk about my Jurassic Park exhibition match.
Yes,
All I know is
that's the segue.
First off, I love the Jurassic Park films. Although that match will always in my always be cherished in my heart, and I'll probably watch it over and over and over again because at the very beginning, for those who haven't seen it, the match was taped in the window between when my wife Sonia had been sent to the hospital, but before I was allowed to go in there and be with her, and before the match, at the beginning of the match, we arranged it so that she would be interviewed by Mark Ellis.
Yep.
She and myself would be interviewed by Mark Ellis, and
That was
yeah, it's a very. Sorry, I'm getting all choked up now.
Oh,
It was yeah, it was a very cool moment. I was very happy that she's able to get some screen time for the Schmoedown, even if it's in an exhibition match, and and I'm very happy to be able to have that video of her to be able to revisit. But and yeah, as I said in the match, I dedicated that match to her, and I think my performance in it, I went up against two, the two people that put on one of the most amazing exhibition matches prior to that, which was the Jurassic Park Iron Man match between Cody and Perry, and that match was just as competitive as that Iron Man match was. I mean. Cody missed 2 questions, Perry missed 1 question, and I did not miss any, and that's how close the margins were.
Yeah,
But I love the Jurassic Park films, and I'm excited to answer any more questions about them as I may have to, whether it be in an Iron Man against those two, or if it's in another division, or in singles. I don't know, or in teams, or in Star Wars. Hard questions in Star Wars sometime. I mean, who knows?
On the most lighthearted possible note, I would love to see a scene between you and Cody Hall about anything.
Yeah.
I love Cody. Look, if you watch the Jurassic Park exhibition match, we get some interaction in there, but we didn't get a chance to film any kind of scenes. But no, that'd be great to do a cut scene before the next year's Jurassic Park exhibition match between maybe the 3 of us. That'd be great.
So, slight divergence. When you mentioned that, I'm pretty certain Jurassic Park is actually the movie I've seen the most times in theaters. I'm pretty certain I saw it 8 times in theaters between the re-release and the original release. So
and
what's everyone? Because they re-released it the same year. So I think I saw it 3 times on the original release, twice on the second release, and then 3 times when they re-released it like 10 years ago. Yeah. So what's everybody's movie they've seen the most times in theaters?
The easy answer is Force Awakens, but the fun answer is Kingsman. Kingsman was 3. I think Force Awakens was 4. But Kingsman was, it came out the same year, so Kingsman was only my most watched for like 7 months. But Kingsman was an absolute blast. It was the first movie where I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go see this again. And then I had hyped it up so much. A friend was like, "Hey, you want to come see it with me then? Since you said it's this good." And I'm like, "I do." So for sure. But.
Nice. I think the movie that I've seen the most in theaters is probably Endgame. I think I saw that 6 times in the theater.
Wow, that's an investment too with that runtime.
Yeah, it was because I had a seat with like so many different groups of friends. Mm-hmm. It was one of those things because I flew out to LA and I saw it like 3 times out here. Then I saw it like another 3 times back in Chicago when I was living there with another group of friends. So it was a very crazy kind of like 2 weeks of just watching 2.5 weeks of watching the Endgame.
That's almost a full day worth of movies right there. If you saw
Hey, I consider it time well spent.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to need everyone to raise their glass for mine because I'm about to drop the infamous drinking game on this show. When I was working at the movie theater, cheers, I think my most watched is probably Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2 because I could go for free and I watched it like a crap ton. Either that or like Force Awakens, but I think I think I've seen Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2 more than I saw Force Awakens. So yeah, that's probably mine.
For me, it's a tie between Star Wars: The Phantom Menace, because I'm apparently older than you, and when that came out, I saw that one 5 times when it came out, and then the following year I saw X-Men 5 times when it came out, and I can't remember Infinity War. I may have watched 5 times. I can't remember. I think I only got to. I think maybe I only saw it 4 times, but it's no, definitely between X-Men and the Phantom Menace.
Phantom Menace, I also saw 5. So yeah.
So if you don't count Rocky Horror Picture Show, which for me would probably be about 20 to 25 times.
Right.
That counts.
If it's not that, as a child, it was Wing Commander. Yeah, I mentioned this when Laura Kelly was on the show. Wing Commander, with Freddie Prinze Jr. and Matthew Lillard, because it had a trailer for episode 1 before it. So my sister and I, we convinced my dad that we loved Wing Commander, and my mom was out of town for real estate school, so he took us to the movie theater like 3 times to see it.
You saw Wing Commander more than you actually saw Phantom Menace, didn't you?
In theaters, yes.
Let's face it, the trailer for Phantom Menace is better than Phantom Menace.
The trailer for Phantom Menace.
The 3rd time we snuck out of the movie theater because we just wanted to see the trailer.
You're like,
and then as an adult, I'm tied with the Juice with Kingsman.
Oh,
yeah.
In fairness, most film trailers are better than the films.
Yeah.
Wait, what was
that one?
Trailer better than the film.
Oh,
Watchmen.
No, I'm just saying. I feel like it's very easy to make a trailer better than the film itself.
Suicide Squad can attest to that.
The Oscar-winning Suicide Squad.
Correction. The Oscar-winning
Suicide.
It was awarded for its excellence.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Suicide Squad, why don't we talk about the IG tournament then? You know.
Ooh,
now that we're
that's
comic book geeky stuff.
Yeah, well, so IG really didn't take off the ground too much before. Were there any IG matches before?
There were a handful. So we had Robert Parker's debut match where he KO'd Ace Cabrera, which is one of the reasons why it's just so amazing that that Robert only got one more win the entire season. Right. Whereas Ace went on from that to win the Star Wars tournament and compete at Spectacular. If you have seen that match, said one of these guys is competing at Spectacular, you wouldn't have said the guy who scored 8 points.
Right.
Oh, yeah. God. You could, yeah. If you go back in time, if you're Biff and Back to the Future, you go back in time, that's how you make your money. Bet on Ace Cabrera over Robert Parker.
What would the biggest odds have been on him doing that?
Well, all the tournaments this year, it was like the least expected person.
Except for the Odd Couple.
Yeah.
Okay.
Teams tournament. That one.
Frank, you run stats. Have you considered actually posting like Schmoedown odds in any way, shape, or form?
This idea was floated back a while ago, a couple seasons ago, when Makuga was doing the fantasy updates and all that stuff. The problem is that it's just everyone's too close. Like if you have to be. It can't really be someone from the show doing it per se.
That makes sense.
And someone's always going to know information, and you don't want that to even subconsciously infer like how you would do it. Also, you have to come up. I've never looked into do anything like that, just because I would never, ever if this was like a real thing, you could go to Vegas. I would never bet on the Schmoedown. It is too unpredictable. You never know what's going to happen. Truly, anyone can win on any day.
That's true.
I would never bet on Schmoedown unless it was an Alex Damon match. But other than that, I'm not betting on Schmoedown.
Then I'm feeling pretty confident.
But Alex Damon, you'd have to bet like $1 million to win $1.
True. Exactly.
I just looked through. I have the playlist pulled up. The only other in studio Intergeekdom match was Chandru versus
Chandru versus Brandon Hanna.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was on the first tape day of the year too, and it was that was when I got my first taste of the real downside of the Schmoedown, which is like every single match somebody has put a lot of time, effort, and heart into this loses, because you have to put a lot of time, effort, and heart into this in order to even compete. And it was I didn't realize at the time, it was like, oh, I don't want anyone to lose. I just want everyone. These are all awesome people. I want them to win every match. But
I've said this about like preparing for the Schmoedown is in like the downtimes between when you play your last match to your next match. It's almost kind of like how athletes prepare for the Olympics. It's only every 4 years. It's so much time in between, and that can be the case for the Schmoedown. Obviously, we're not playing. It's not years, but it could literally be 2 to 3 months before you play your next match.
Right.
And so you do all of this work for 2 months, 3 months, maybe 4 months. You go play that match, and then you come up just short. Maybe you blow a 5-point lead in the final round for the title.
6 points.
And you did all that work, and that sucks. On top of the way you lose a match.
I mean, that horror free-for-all, I think I probably put about 100 hours of studying for that horror free-for-all. And I had a brain fart on the very first question, and it knocked me out. And it's funny because it's like talk about rookie mistakes. The rookie mistake I made there was we began taping that it was scheduled to begin at 3:00. And so I blocked out on my work calendar from 3:00 on. Well, somebody scheduled me for a meeting until 3:00. So I was doing, I don't know if anyone has watched, if you've all seen the match, but it's like, I'd show up in the match dressed as Negan. So I'm doing this work call dressed as Negan. And then immediately after the work call's done, like switch computers and like get on and just like, but I didn't have any chance to really like, prep myself and center myself, look over anything at all. Like I had to go immediately from work mode into like I was the number one entrant, And all that 100 hours of prep down the drain for forgetting who starred in The Exorcist 3.
But yet Mark Hoyk was all streaming it all live from Starbucks or wherever he was.
Yeah, that's incredible. Yeah. There's definitely some like cafe. I don't know where exactly it was at, but you could definitely see the patrons in the background of whatever establishment.
I don't know what they thought. Like they're like, what is this man doing over here?
That guy, just like how he deadpans the way he does is incredible. By the way, like he is got to be one of the funniest people you've got there, and he's deadpanning all this stuff, acting like he's super evil, and you can just tell he's laughing hysterically on the inside the whole time.
Until I see John Lovitz and Mark Hoyk in the same place, I'll be convinced that they're the same person.
The craziest
he is playing a character. I swear to God.
The craziest thing about Mark Hoyk in the Schmoedown is that. So Mark Hoyk, years ago on Comedy Central, there was a show called Beat the Geeks, and he was their movie geek. He was the guy who, knew more about movies than anyone else in the world, right?
The other two geeks
What'd you say?
The other two geeks, like if you had to challenge a geek, you wanted to challenge the other two. You never wanted to challenge the movie geek because you were going to lose if you challenged the movie geek at the end.
Yeah, exactly. And the competition in the Schmoedown is so tough that he has never won a Schmoedown match.
I know.
He's played phenomenal, and he's played in some of the highest scoring team matches of all time. He scored his team has scored over 30 points each time he's played, and still can't get a W. It's really just insane bad luck.
Yeah.
Holy shit!
Yeah, that's like
I thought he's
tight.
Yeah, he hasn't won.
Always does great, but always loses.
Yeah.
That was him.
Hopefully, yeah.
That was him.
That was him.
Yeah.
You just broke my brain.
I stumbled upon an old clip of that.
I never realized that he had never won a single match.
Oh yeah, no, he's
Yeah.
yet to win a match. And I thought the horror free he his first ever win, and then Colin stole from in fairness,
his faction mate.
I mean, the funny thing is, it's like I was surprised he missed that last question. But
I was too.
Yeah. That was, but maybe I'm just a big Game of Thrones guy. So, The question was, what 2016 horror film starred Ralph Ineson and Katie Dickey in supporting roles, and both of them were Game of Thrones characters, so they were very recognizable. Watching the Witch, it's like, oh, there's he's one of the Ralph Ineson was one of the Greyjoys. Well, he wasn't technically a Greyjoy, but he's one of the someone from the Iron Islands, and Katie Dickey was Robin Arryn, and so. Yeah, so if you don't follow Game of Thrones as much as some people did, you may not have caught that.
I never watched an episode of Game of Thrones, but I dated somebody who worked at a movie theater at the time. Everybody take a drink.
You date Bethany?
No. But
we're keeping on the down.
But free tickets to the movies. I went and saw The Witch, even though it wasn't my kind of movie, and I loved it. Yeah. And the person I was seeing at the time, she absolutely hated it. So that movie actually it imprinted on me for that reason. So that was I thought that was an easy question because that was my horror movie of the year for 2016. Yeah. And it's one of those things where it can be so subjective for that thing because I'm not a horror expert, but that was my easy question when I was slumping it the entire time playing along while I was watching it.
Yeah, but I will also say in terms of just so the people that got it wrong were JTE and Mark Hoyt, and I think of the people that compete in the Schmoedown, they're probably two of the ones that watch the fewest Schmoedown matches in which they're not involved. So myself, as someone who watches every match, I recognized The Witch very early on as a film that they ask a lot of questions about. So I watched that, way before I didn't watch that in prep of the horror free for all. I watched that just to watch it to be familiar with it. And by the way, like yourself, loved the film. It's fantastic.
Oh, so good. Robert Eggers is my homeboy for sure. I will watch everything that he does.
Lighthouse is a little disturbing. What'd you say?
His Robert Rodriguez episode of Mandalorian was just.
No, he said Robert Eggers.
Oh, Eggers. I thought he said Robert.
Also,
Robert Rodriguez episode of Mandalorian was fantastic, though. I watched that and I'm watching it the whole time, and I was like, man, this episode is so great. I wonder who directed it. When I saw Robert Rodriguez, it was makes sense. So
Rodriguez's The Witch is a very different movie.
I don't know. Have you seen From Dusk Till Dawn? It's not that different.
That's just, but yeah, The Witch would be the sequel to From Dusk Till Dawn if it was directed. And I'd like to watch it.
So, the horror free for all, obviously, we before that happened, we all did the call to action last general standing, and we know what a pain in the butt it was to make a virtual free for all happen.
Yeah, so just kudos for that.
Were there any technical glitches filming that horror free for all, or did it go off without a hitch? Because we know that had to have been a gigantic pain in the ass.
I don't know if there were any. I can't remember if there were any technical glitches, but there was a brain glitch that didn't make the air, which was in the very first round. They ended it after the fourth question, and then had to call us back in and said, "Oh, you guys get 5 questions."
Man, I'd like to see that footage.
Lon and I were confused. We were like, "What?" I thought so. There's only 4 questions too. It was, and then they're like, "Get back, guys, get back." It's like, okay. Yeah, but that was. Yeah, it was funny because after 4 questions, me and Lon were eliminated, but then we got to come back for a 5th question, and then me and Lon were eliminated. I was like, all right, great. Glad we took care of that.
What was the 5th question? Do you remember?
Yeah, it was funny because it was the only one that Vinny Mancuso missed during the match, or during that round, which was who directed what 2007 horror film was directed by Frank Darabont, which is, does everyone here know it? Frankie?
It's not.
No.
And I think they said 2007. Sorry, I think they phrased it 2007 Stephen King adaptation was directed by Frank Darabont, which is why I believe Vinny probably wrote The Green Mile, which it's funny because Frank Darabont's directed 3 Stephen King adaptations.
Right.
And the 2007 one is The Mist.
The Mist.
Yeah.
And I always confuse The Mist with The Happening, so I stopped myself from saying it. But
happening with anything.
Well, because both those movies are terrible.
I like The Mist. I think it gets a bad rap, but
I don't either.
yeah.
There's a lot of horror movies that are holes in
Yeah,
my
no,
mouth.
I prepping for it, because all along I'd thought to myself, I like good movies. I've seen horror movies, but I knew there were some gaps. But I was like, yeah, I could do horror films. And then as I started prepping for that free for all, it felt like I was fighting a Hydra. In that, like, every movie I studied, I'd find out there were 2 more movies that I needed to learn. It was just like I was keeping a list of all the movies I was like studying to prep for, and at the end I had like 350 films listed, and that only like 20% of the movies they asked about in the free for all weren't even on my list. So it was.
It's so crazy, seeing realizing in the Schmoedown that those 80s horror action categories are actually just so insanely difficult because you just have no idea what is going to be coming up. And I remember team action, spinning action adventure against top 10 and just getting 2 points right or something like that in one of their matches. And it was because
it's not the category.
Action. Yeah. It's so crazy. But it also, it has shown how those specific categories, you can really study a Meryl Streep and you're going to get 8 out of 8 if you really just put that effort in.
Meryl Streep is almost a broad category.
Well, I mean, but but here's the thing: you have compared to
I'm
the
joking
350 plus, horror films. Yeah, it's fun. Yeah. The one thing I'll say, and I definitely don't mean this with disrespect. I mean this with complete respect. Is that I honestly thought of all the impressive things that Adam Collins did this year, his performance in the horror free for all to me was the most impressive because. Because he and I are attempting the same things, trying to do this. And I feel like if I were to go against him in singles, that it would be fairly evenly matched. Whereas he did significantly better than me in the horror free for all, and having known what to, how much work I put in and what goes into that, that to me, was like hats off to him in that because he, that again, this is like soup. I was very, very impressed by that, and especially him pulling that off while studying for teams and singles. That was in the middle of the teams tournament, and myself, I didn't have anything else going on. I was exclusively studying horror. And he was prepping for other things and still, outshone the rest of us.
You know who wasn't studying for teams and singles for a while, though? The man I'm bringing in right now, Chance Ellison, just got done with his IG match in Spectacular. How we doing tonight, Chance?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good.
Good to hear.
So how's the movie?
I was wondering.
I didn't.
You don't have to say what movie. You can tell us how it was.
There's no embargo on, so I can talk about it. Not like
Oh shit!
About the movie.
Spill.
It's good.
What movie?
Wonder Woman 84.
Okay. Oh, you went with PJ, not PJ. You went with the.
Well, PJ was there. He was there.
Yeah, but you went with late to the party.
Yeah.
I tried to get an invite to it. I commented when they posted about that they were going to do that. I was like, hey, where's my invite? Because I'm not gonna lie, I would have went out there for it. I would have made it to Arizona to watch Wonder Woman 84.
And then he would have gone and not gone with you, but he was there.
He was there.
Thanks, PJ.
But no, movie. It's interesting. It's good. It's definitely a different direction from the first.
Interesting.
There's a lot I do like about it.
Better than the first one, or not as
your
much?
thoughts on the first one?
I would say I like the first quite a bit. I think it's really good. Sure, a third act drops a bit from me, but even then, I think the first two acts are strong enough to me to give it that edge. I don't know if I like this better than the first. It definitely has it does some things better. Like I think the villain in this one is way better than anything the first
That
one
wasn't
had.
hard though.
That was not hard. That was
Yeah.
not hard.
No.
This movie primarily takes place in 1984. Am I correct in that?
Correct. Yes.
Are there any
Spoiler
keytars?
alert.
Are there any keytars?
There
That's all
is
that I really want to know.
spoiler. There are no keytars in Wonder Woman 84.
Damn it. Well,
I'm gonna give
That's
it a terrible rotten
but I'm
tomato.
still looking forward
right
to it.
I mean, yeah.
No.
I mean, I think if you really love the first Wonder Woman, I think you're gonna enjoy this one. Like, I can't see you like loving the first one, like hating this one.
Right.
The way they bring back Pine is interesting, to say the least.
Okay.
Gee.
Better or worse than Kingsman Golden Circle with Harry?
Oh, way better, way better.
Thank
Oh,
you.
That's all I needed.
Oh, I'm sorry. I misheard you. So I thought you meant as a movie. You said better, like bringing back a dead character.
Yeah.
Huh.
Oh boy.
Oh shit.
That's a tough, tricky question.
Okay. I'll say better, not by a lot, but better.
But better. I'll take that. I'll take that as a I don't know, I wouldn't say a ringing endorsement, but that's an endorsement.
Oh,
I'm just disappointed that Chance got to come on before I had a chance to trash him.
Sorry, put him back in the waiting AJ. We'll let
You had an hour. Like, what were you doing?
These guys were
We've been talking
talking.
about the horror free for all this
we were
entire
doing a
time.
little horror free for all. We were talking a little bit of the IG tournament, which
Right,
obviously now
within-
we are. I feel like we need
Enjoy
to.
that, yeah.
We need
Within
to.
our, within our chronological run of where we were walking through everything, we are kind of ending with the IG tournament, and we do happen to have one of the finalists of that IG tournament with us today.
The winner.
Yeah.
The
I mean,
winner.
yes.
The winner is also a finalist.
Yeah, two of the semifinalists, including the
Put it
winner.
that way as well.
Frankie
That's
here
true.
with the stats.
But I think we all were. I mean, to see that Mike versus Chance, corruption versus corruption, IG tournament final. It was compared to all of the FinStock, and I'm as big a fan of the FinStock exchange as the next guy. But to see all the drama that went down, it was kind of refreshing to see the cool, calm, relaxed Hawaiian shirt. We're just gonna chill and have a good time. It doesn't matter who wins. We all love each other. It was kind of nice to see that. So yeah,
I mean, I find you know, and this is no offense to you, Chance, but I actually found that to be, I don't know, anticlimactic, and you know, you took the stakes out, like you said, doesn't matter which of us wins.
Yeah.
Like where's the drama in that? You took all the drama out of it.
I mean,
Whereas
yeah.
in the both of the Bateman Merle matches, those two are match of the year contenders because of how much drama there was in them. They were you know, and again, it's not, you know, that's
Okay, those are match of the year contenders, but Gucci is not a manager of the year contender, and Shannon is, because she could manage both Chance and Mike.
No, but no, hold on. That match
That's-
is not why Shannon is a manager of the year contender
It
whatsoever.
definitely is. It's something that contributes when you think about it.
No. Her performance in that match has zero to do with her being a match of the year contender.
She was awesome for Chance, and she was awesome for Mike,
Right.
Here's
Throughout
also
the
a match.
entire season, but that match
and
is
at the
not.
same time.
Yeah, that match is not why Shannon is a contender for manager of the year.
Congrats to corruption for.
Yeah, gotta
for-
get cheers here. Congrats, Chance.
Congrats,
Thank you.
Chance. Congrats
And
to corruption.
You know that you are safe and kept, and all that has been decided. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean,
is
I
it
wasn't
considered
going to
safe? Is it considered safe, or is it considered, you know, handcuffed? You're ankled? No, I'm just saying, you know, everyone's safe. Everyone's you know, everyone else is able to go
Craig,
where
I
they
need you
want
to call Andrew Guy and tell him that right now.
Well, I don't. You know,
You're
about
safe,
that. But what I'm saying is, like, you know, everyone else has the freedom to choose where they're going to go, whereas Chance doesn't have that opportunity. Now, of course, knowing Chance and knowing how well he and Mike work together as a team, and knowing how much success he's had under Shannon, I'm sure you didn't want to leave Shannon. but you're the faction of the year. But does that I'm just saying he doesn't. What if you wanted to go somewhere else, you don't have that option.
That's a good
I
point.
mean, even if I wanted to, I had no offers. So where else was I going to go?
Well, no one was allowed to offer. No one was allowed to offer you.
I mean, after we won and she was able to lock me, no, I couldn't offer.
No, but no one was allowed to. I mean, look, let's not pretend like we haven't had conversations, Chance.
I mean, not like that. Not like that. We haven't. We haven't.
I mean, I'm just saying. Can you imagine a team of me and Chance?
Be interesting.
Impressive.
Fun.
I like our odds.
Could not possible this upcoming season unless a trade happens. But I would love to team with Chance. Are you kidding me?
But yes, I am locked in. I am coming back to Corruption next season. 2021. I'm not going anywhere. Corruption's not going anywhere. The team nor the faction are going anywhere.
Yeah.
But it's. I mean, I knew I wasn't going to the draft either way because even if, for some reason, Shannon didn't want to sign me, which, come on, she's not going to let me go. I wasn't. I was going to sign with somebody else. There's no way I'm going back to the draft. I'm like Cillian Murphy in Dunkirk. I won't go back. You can't make me.
You've never been in the draft, though. You were. Well, I guess. Wait.
Oh, okay.
No, you were in the draft last year. You guys didn't get you. Yeah, I apologize. That's right. You were not able to be kept last year, but you were not able to be separated. So
yes, we were a package deal last year.
Yeah.
And you had 4 managers make a mistake of not taking you.
I think 6, honestly.
That's right.
She did not. Yeah. She did not
because Gucci didn't have a choice in that part.
Right, but I think Tom picked after Shannon, if I'm not mistaken.
No, but Gucci didn't have a pick in the first 4 rounds.
Right.
The title holders were locked. Yeah.
Protected, yeah.
Well, he chose who he was picking in this 4 rounds.
Right. That's a whole.
There was a lot of emotions that went into that.
And yet the one
that he pissed off is sticking with him. So.
Yeah, I mean,
well, that ends well.
I mean, sure, I could talk about how John Rocca threw a giant hissy fit, and his production was. Did he have production this year? I don't know, but
look. He didn't. Did he have the W's? No, it didn't go his way. Did he play well?
He had some W's.
He played well.
So,
he played well, but
it's you gotta find victories.
Did he?
Hold on.
Well in singles.
Yes, he did play well in singles. He had a number. He lost in overtime in a number 1 contenders match to Ethan Irwin.
Yeah, he answered
he beat Oyama, and then didn't he?
I totally remember the Oyama match in reverse. The Oyama match was really badass.
Yeah,
it was.
He was vintage Roca then. You're going full Roca in that one.
Yeah, his 2 singles losses were to Adam Collins, who won the tournament and won the title, and to Ethan Irwin in overtime. So you can't really, it's like, look,
no, can't fault that.
He also beat Mark Ellis.
I guess, yeah. I mean, you look at it. He beat Oyama. Him and Dan beat the Witching Power, and I guess that's it.
Man, you have an incredible memory.
So wait, he got his number 1 contenders match just from beating Oyama? I guess that's
it. That's all he had to do.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like it's an easy thing to beat.
It's not an easy thing to do, but that's it. That's all he did.
Jump out for a second here.
He can't.
I will say, obviously, Chance, we are all pulling for you in the championship. I am sad that didn't go your way, but obviously ''tis always next season, and we'll just.
There's not much you can do when you get a slow start like that, because I started very poorly. I will admit I started poorly.
Well, this at least positions us to have a better shot at getting our rematch in IG next year.
I mean, I guess, but don't you got to climb a ladder first?
Oh man,
I don't know. I'm at number 5 in the rankings. Where are you?
I don't know. Probably 2.
Yeah. So, you don't think they put a 5? You don't think they put a 5 against a 2? who are you gonna face? Who would I need to face in order to get up to you?
I don't. Mike. I mean, if I had to guess, maybe Mike, maybe Damon,
Parker.
Parker.
Yeah,
I'd say Damon or Parker. Damon or Parker is probably on deck.
Yeah, I would face either of those guys. You know,
make that a triple threat. That'd be fun.
Yeah, I just want to. What I've been pitching. If there's a Comic-Con 2021, I would love for me and Chance to have our rematch at Comic-Con 2021. I think that would be fantastic.
Can I sell at Comic-Con? That's the real question.
What'd you say?
Can I sell at Comic-Con? That's the real question.
Yeah, we'll see.
Way to underplay yourself. That's terrible.
I'm not the draw of corruption anymore. I know it was the draw of corruption, but I know I'm not the draw.
I mean, look, you're a high level player. Don't sell yourself short.
Thank you.
And,
but yeah, I mean, as far as the tournament goes, as far as like the final having mistakes, I mean, you're right, but you could have stopped it. Damon could have stopped it. So many of you could have stopped that match, but you chose not to do it.
I mean, I tried to stop it.
I'm sure you tried. But, you know, like a little green, maybe baby daddy once said, do or do not, there is no try.
True. Maybe baby daddy.
Maybe.
Likely baby daddy.
Hey, likely because where else did he come? Where else did Grogu come from? Yoda
there
and
are
Yaddle.
other members besides just Yaddle.
But other members of his race who were also that heavily, with the midichlorians. Which, by the way, I had a friend. There was a fan theory a while ago that midichlorians weren't actually what caused the Force, and that because Qui-Gon Jinn's really the only person in the franchise who talks about the midichlorians. So they thought was
so Qui-Gon's crazy.
Well, not that he's crazy, but he's just he's like somebody talking about fluorine in the water and whatnot. He's like, his midichlorian count is off the chart, and everyone's like, yeah, whatever, Qui-Gon. But in the Mandalorian, this is the first time they've referenced midichlorians since episode 1.
I mean, yeah, but we all know what happened. Yoda, Yaddle got a big old bottle of spatchka, got busy, and then they created Grogu. And yeah, that's canon.
I don't think I ever want to picture Yoda and Yaddle getting busy.
I want that to be on the big screen. Ticket sold already. I'll break my Jurassic Park record for that one.
Yeah.
I want to hear more from Frankie Numbaz. I'm going to take over the conversation here real quick. So Frankie Numbaz.
Yeah.
So you put I read the stats you post, and I can't help but notice that a lot of the stat records all come from this year. Now, do you attribute that more to the level of questions or the level of competitors?
Both. I think they're colliding right at each other's peak of the game is adjusting, and players are now adjusting, but it turns out they're over adjusting, and it's really juicing the numbers, if you will.
Yeah.
And I think that's exactly what's happening.
Yep.
There's really no other way to explain it, and it's also just about more. I think there's more theory about the game is talked about. There's more strategy of the game is developed more than ever. Understanding, for a 3-round match, that's 8 points there, but also it's the same amount of points you can get in round 2. It's figuring out your strengths and weaknesses and attacking those slices. I feel like people are definitely looking at the slices more than ever and figuring out where they want to be strong in, where they want to shore up a weakness. So I think all of that is kind of is attributing, and then you throw in the online aspect of.
That's what I was about to ask.
I was gonna say the fact that people had time on their hands.
being able to do it at your own home where you may be more comfortable. Certainly that's the case for some players, and maybe it's not for others. But even those players who complain about it, like Roca, I think he would talk about it doesn't really suit his needs. Well, he still answered at a pretty high rate. Sure, he came up short, but he still answered at a pretty high rate.
Doesn't suit your needs. Wow. Okay.
There's something to be said.
And I do love
much better.
Kaiser. I do love Kaiser calling Chandru the AOL dial-up champion.
That was good.
Part of me almost is like, as much as I wanted you to win, Chance, part of me is like, Chandru can have that AOL dial-up championship of the world. Yeah. We can keep it that.
Here's the crazy thing.
And
if
somebody
Chandru
else
may never be able to experience having the championship outside of a digital format.
That's crazy to think about.
The next player he plays could dethrone him, and if it goes on longer than that, you never know. But he may only hold on to the title within the digital realm, which is an interesting thing to think about.
AOL dial-up champion of the world.
Yeah. I mean, given his level of play, I feel like that's
he's gotten
unlikely.
However,
I do think, however, his first match is going to be against Mara Kanopik, and Mara has only lost one match ever. And
I think some of the more astute fan has realized there's an expansion of Inner Geekdom coming. And that's not officially out there.
It's not officially out there, but I've seen the potential list, and I'm not excited. I'll just say that I'm not excited. Not because I don't think we need expansion, because I think we do, but just what we're expanding to. I'm just like, it's gonna be a pain in the ass.
I'm just glad they didn't throw in Twilight. That's all.
No Twilight, thank God.
Some people are like, you guys should learn Twilight for this. It's like, why? No, how? Why? No.
No one should.
No, Frankie, no.
Is there not a fandom behind that?
I mean, there is, but it's just like if I look at that stupid CG baby one more time, I'm gonna kill somebody.
I watched Twilight Part 4 on a plane, and I almost jumped out of the plane.
I mean, look. Should they just do it as any property that would be shown at Comic-Con? Because Twilight was shown at Comic-Con, so maybe that does qualify. But so
was Snowden. So I don't think Snowden.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If
Comic-Con's the barometer, that's pretty.
Are we going to add Let's Be Cops to the Inner Geekdom list?
Okay, I'd be down.
What I will say about Twilight, yes, I think it once had a very ravenous fan base. I was a twihard at one point, I will admit, because I was a teenage girl once. But it has died down, substantially. That I feel like it's not part of people's like everyday consciousness. It doesn't yes, there are still people that like you say Forks Washington, they'd be like Twilight, but like I don't think it's something that like has stood the test of time. Something like many things in Inner Geekdom that it's like people are still like Jurassic Park has stood the test of time. Back to the Future, different things like that. Obviously, all the comic book stuff and Star Wars, yada. But Twilight, like it was a very like flash in the pan, like it came and it went. So yeah, I don't really feel the need to add it just because
no one really discusses Twilight anymore. So
yeah,
all I'll say about Twilight is I joined the league because I knew Christian and Ethan Irwin through Silver Pictures, where the three of us were all working at the same time. And I was there in the capacity of a script reader. And one of the scripts that I was assigned to read and passed on was the original Twilight script. And I had very harsh words to say about that script. And
you saved us for a time, I guess.
Yeah. Once the movie came out, I had a sister who's let's see, I don't know how much younger. She's like 10 years younger than me. So I had a sister who at the time I was probably like 26 and she was 16, and I was like, all right, here's what I thought of it when I read the script. I read her like all my comments bashing that thing. She's like, oh yeah, no, that's all true. I was like, okay, just making sure.
What did that script looks like? Like Edward looks at Bella like he's about to vomit. Cut to the next page. They're about to go have the woods. Every kid in school assumes they're gonna go have sex. Cut to the next page. Gabella uses Bing. What the fuck?
Was the original script that you read worse than what ended up on the screen?
I mean, I would say it was equally bad. That's all I'll say. The other thing I'll say is, if they do ultimately put Twilight in Inner Geekdom, I hope at the same time they add 50 Shades of Grey, because those equally belong in Inner Geekdom together.
Wow. Put them on the same slide.
I'm sure they belong as much as
Twilight.
I don't know how many times I can answer what sex act did they do in this season.
You'll get so many Cleveland Steamer answers. The Cleveland Steamer. That's going to be the new name of the Indians next year. Now that they're changing their name, to the Cleveland Steamers.
I really, we really just need like a basketball team to retire their names. So we can have like the blank, just generic sports team. Just complete the trilogy.
Yep. The
Cleveland baseball team, the Washington football team.
Oh,
If the Blackhawks retire, they're the hockey team.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we got that. We got the Washington football team, the Cleveland baseball team, and I'm trying to think what
the
were
Golden
those
State
ones?
basketball team.
Maybe.
That's all I can think of.
Maybe.
But they like
I think the
don't
Warriors
use it.
is generic enough. Plus, they don't use any like
The
Native
Atlanta
American.
basketball team.
Yeah.
I don't know. They were bird teams.
But if Kansas City does it, will it be the other football team?
The Kansas City football team. Eventually, every team is going to be the football team.
Football team.
Yeah.
I like it. It keeps
That's why I
it.
bought Washington football team merch the second I had the opportunity.
Now,
Yeah,
someone we need to jump on that in Schmoedown. We just need like the Los Angeles trivia faction, or just something.
That's what the rock stars should have rebranded to instead of just the stars. They should have just been the trivia team.
The trivia team.
People have a negative connotation of dungeons. We're gonna need to change your name.
The Kaiser's trivia buddies.
If we're not adding 50 Shades into the actual IG, then we're going to need to call you guys the Kaiser trivia team, because
that's the end all.
No connotation of dungeons. We need to make it as PC as possible.
I mean, dungeons have a very bad reputation. There's some very bad, imagery. No one wants to be, put in no one wants to be put in like a dark room and chain whipped unless you're into that thing. Which, if you are, a bar to you. But
In which case,
So we did about wrap up the Inner Geekdom tournament there. Singles tournament. I had a segue about half an hour ago. I had a segue to go right to the singles tournament,
and then things happen. Yeah.
But
The single tournament team was the closest I think that Schmoedown has ever come to March Madness, though.
any
love those weeks.
just the
matches
scale
stand out.
of it.
I should pull up my old. I had like a draft prediction. I should pull that up and see where it differed.
Oh,
Anyone get that bracket right? Like,
No.
I was gonna say, how could you have?
Probably not.
Mm-mm.
No, because no one was going to have Collins go past Roca.
Yeah.
Man.
So if I'm fan leagues, nobody knew who he was.
I put Vinny in the quarterfinals for that one. That was my big
Really?
thing. I leaned into the ice pick.
You thought Vinny was going to beat Irwin. Interesting.
I had Vinny and Tom for that quadrant of the bracket.
Well, at least
That
you
was
got
my-
0 of those right.
Yeah, that was.
No, it's okay. It's funny because that was the quote half of the bracket that was easier to predict.
Right.
Yeah.
Irwin and Schneider, those were the two that people thought were going to be in there, whereas the other side was Adam Collins and Liz Shannon Miller, which nobody had going there.
Right.
People had Chance, people had me, people had Bibbs. No one had Liz.
No.
And good for her. Good for her.
Yeah, no, I love Liz. I think she had a great season. Look, she won a teams match too. I think people forget about that. Her and Adam Lovick are undefeated as a team.
It's true.
And
She looked so much more comfortable this season than she did last season. Like, you could tell last year, she definitely had the jitters, and especially going digital, she was much more comfortable in her skin.
I think it's the added benefit of Winston in her corner. I think he works wonders for. He's a good manager. I hate saying this because he's a good manager. He works wonders for his players.
Do you think he's manager of the year material?
What?
Do you think he's manager of the year material?
I mean, he's nominated for sure. He's not going to win, but he's nominated.
I mean, look. I think the first person to say that Gucci shouldn't be nominated for manager of the year is Gucci himself. Gucci.
I mean, yeah, but like, if there's 5 nominees, who the fuck else are you going to put in there?
I mean, put in Coy. Put in
Coy.
Roxy.
It's gonna be Shannon, Roxy, Winston, Coy, and Gucci. That's it. That's your 5.
Probably.
Yeah, if they do 5 nominees, sure, but I mean, like that's just Gucci is by default, you know.
Who would you disqualify of the bottom 4?
I mean, like first you got to disqualify Ken Knapsack / Robert Meyer Burnett.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the easy one, but I'd probably pick Sam, honestly.
Yeah.
Sam, Kaiser, or
Kate
would be, or
And
Kate.
even
I
give Kaiser that 5 spot.
yeah, I could see Kaiser getting the 5 spot over Gucci.
Really?
He got it at times.
You just see how much Kaiser loves the game.
I mean, he's good at it, but like, how can you be a manager nominee when you finish last? Like, that's just no.
He didn't finish last. He finished second to last.
That's true.
No. Oh, second to last.
Droogs.
Yeah.
Drew.
My bad.
Yeah, the Droogs were a thing.
I forgot.
And a name choice that happened.
He's getting the number 1 pick though, so because the Drews left. So
I mean, sure, he's the New York Jets, the Schmoedown this year, but is it worth it?
hey, he won something, so he's better than
Look, Kaiser. I'm sure Kaiser would not have called an all-out blitz cover 0 on a 15 seconds left on the clock.
Are you sure?
You've met Kaiser, right?
I'm pretty sure he would not call a cover 0 all-out blitz with 15 seconds left on the clock.
So
But that formation was called the Trevor Lawrence formation.
Pretty much.
the protect the tank formation.
Yeah, exactly.
And who gets the first overall pick now that the Droogs aren't a thing?
Kaiser,
right?
Yeah. So, yeah, I guess so.
Picks for the free agency. Once everyone's cleared, he's got the 3 players takes +1.
And
dude, he has good.
The 4 of us should really figure this out. You think there'll be a time where we deep dive, discuss what this draft free agency will look like?
Yeah, I think.
Well,
people
are in shape for this, but
there are tons of managers who just should throw every single toy but one out of the sandbox.
Wow.
I
think there's at least 2 managers that are locked in. Clearly, Shannon.
Mm-hmm.
I think Roxy's got to be 100%.
Oh, the Roxy 100%.
Yeah.
How she is, unless Damon says no. That's the only way.
Why would he?
Yeah, why would he?
Because
Roxy.
Sexy.
Yeah. And then
what reason do you need?
Yeah, and
the reason Damon would say no is if you had a perfect IG training partner for him.
A dungeon? Damon to the dungeon?
But no. I don't even think it would be the dungeon. I think that you would have to. I think it's impossible because if it's not corruption, if it's not you or Mike, then no. But if you or Mike were somebody on another team where you were available for teams and singles, and then you could train IG, then you'd go. But yeah,
you don't think Robert Parker would be a good enough training partner for him? But at the same time, it's why
is Robert going to play teams or singles?
Probably not.
Is Alex going to play teams or singles?
No, but if you're looking at holding 3 people, are you going to take 2 IG players? Because that would so well for
I understand what you're saying now. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, because you need somebody who's a teams and singles player who would also be able to help as a training partner for IG. So that's the determining factor.
Well, I mean, there's only 2 or 3 guys who can do that. They're all locked up. We're all locked up. So
I mean, I'm not locked up anywhere. I'm a free agent.
Okay, sure. But there's 2 or 3 guys who can do this.
What's that? Chance?
I'm just joking.
So, hey, Craig, your 1 IG loss. Has that person ever played in a title match?
Yeah, I think he played in a title match once, but I don't think it's
okay.
I don't think it went very well for him.
Yeah, that's okay. You've got a point. I didn't actually remove him from the stream, by the way. I know I've used the mute button against you. I did not take you out of that stream.
Yeah. Anyway, no. So I don't think there's any chance or reason why Damon wouldn't stay with Roxy.
Yeah. There's nothing on the table currently.
I think
there'll be possibilities.
But I don't think there's anything that anyone could offer him that would get him to leave, because he's been with Roxy this whole year, and it's been, they've worked well together. I don't think, I mean, Frankie, what do you think about that?
Specifically, what again?
Whether or not there's any chance that Damon would not want to stay with Roxy.
That would be really interesting if that was the case. I think if you're any manager out there, you should at least take a stab at it. I mean, what's the harm in that? He says no. But because what if you did ask and then he was like, well, actually, I am looking for a change of scenery. But you wouldn't know that if you didn't take a chance. So I don't know that even if managers did, that he would say that. But I don't know. I doubt it.
Yeah. So realistically speaking, yeah, 2 teams are locked in. 2 factions.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair to say. Everyone else, though, it's free game.
No, well, I think Swag's pretty locked in too.
You think so?
Problem is they
who would you lock in Swag?
The third stuff.
Here's who you lock in if you're Swag. And it's not really that tough. You lock in the IG champion,
Yes.
Chandra Dovapani,
And Oyama.
and you lock in the team of Oyama and Harris, because they were one of the strongest teams this year, and they don't have far to climb on the ladder to get back into that title picture.
No, I don't.
And I'm not sure who you like if you're Oyama or if you're Lan. I don't know who you find to replace each other.
I mean, unless one of them wants to change the scenery,
or there's that. Like we all obviously we know Merle and Bateman's out there.
Bateman's like he might know.
Bateman said he doesn't
Well,
want
discuss.
Oyama.
I mean, look, if we all know that if Oyama's playing Jesus and Jesus was not on the exchange, he'd pick Oyama to win the match. But so I'm sure he would absolutely jump at the opportunity to team with Oyama and anyone for that matter, because he's been making moves left and right. Go back, but he might not go back. He's probably going to go back.
Oyama could also want to be the first pick too, because he has a history with Kaiser. He could just say, "I'm not signing with anybody," and just go to Kaiser.
Or he could sign with Kaiser. He wouldn't have to be the first pick.
But
I think
that's what Kaiser was trying to do. I think Kaiser wanted to pull Oyama, pull Bateman, and keep Parker as his third. I think that's Kaiser's life.
I mean, Kaiser has the cap. He has the cap space.
I would love it.
Like, who's on his faction that he would want to sign besides Parker?
Right, because Zipper, he can draft. He can draft.
I don't think he'll sign Smets purely because I don't think anyone else will draft him, because he's going to be out for a majority of next season.
Yeah, Smets is not in the draft, so that's not a thing.
That's a good clarification.
I mean, and even if he was, like, I don't think anyone will take him.
He'll keep a 9
just
spot.
because it seems like it'd be like a 10th round, 9th round pick. Not disrespect to Smets, but like he's not going to play. It'd be a waste of a draft pick if someone's like higher than that. It's like picking Le'Veon Bell first overall in a 2018 fantasy draft. It's just a waste.
It's more like drafting a backup quarterback in a way, because he acts.
Yeah, I picked Adrian Peterson in the 2012 draft or whatever year that he came back from his ACL. He won me the whole league.
What you have with Smets is what at maximum capacity, possibly somebody who Rachel was with Sam and who Rachel is for the league, with somebody who can help coach and help guide your players. That's Smets' role this year, I think. At least from what I heard on backstage today,
But Smets going to do that not as a player. He again, as Frankie said, he's not even on the draft board. Yeah. But he's going to contrip to the dungeon.
I mean, he's going to be in the Rachel Cushing editorial role, like she was for Sam, and that's really no secret to anybody, I think. So,
but
that's fun.
But knowing, like, if you're going into this as a free agent and somebody calls you, and you think, okay, well, Kaiser does have Smets there as somebody who could help coach me for something when he's available. That's a definite added bonus that not a lot of the other managers have right now going to free agency.
100%.
Sure. And again, like I think of those two managers who like have a situation where like keep one toy, throw the rest away. It's Sam and Kate. They're the two. Like if I'm them, I'm signing one person on my roster. The rest of y'all F off. You're in the draft. If I get you
Well,
back,
I feel like that's a little unfair to Tom to say if you think that, or is that unfair to Paul?
I think
which of those two are you saying?
Yeah, that Kate's the Den might be the most interesting faction to
Agreed.
unpack this draft.
the fact who they sign is going to be interesting.
Yeah.
I do think the Den situation is, to put it lightly, I think it's a hot mess over there. A lot of things.
It's a bunch of fifth rounders.
A lot of that's not even that. It's a lot of things didn't click. A lot of promise that didn't pan out. There was, they didn't really. I feel like they didn't maximize the talent on that roster in certain situations, but it vaguely.
I mean, it worked for them at the beginning of the season. They got a lot of matches.
Yeah.
But like as it went on, and as we're like, okay, it's not gonna be based on location, it's gonna be based on like whether or not you win. Failed. Hardcore.
I want to recontextualize something I said. I said a bunch of fifth rounders. I meant like second round of this year's draft. After you have your three people, there's a bunch of people that I think I pick in the second round.
Are you really calling? Okay, we're really calling. I think he had like 2 first rounders, and like the rest of the team are all like thirds, maybe.
It was an interesting thing that Kate brought up on Let's Get Ready to Schmoedown's stream right after Frank and Jen's after Spectacular stream, and Kate was saying she wants to draft Marisol and trade something to Shannon, or that's like what she was proposing.
Now, hold on, real quick. You want to rant? Okay, you guys are looking for a rant. Here's a rant. Okay. And so, look, here's the whole thing with Marisol and Laura Kelly. Look, I even tweeted this out like the other day. It's an absolute mistake. It's an absolute mistake and a miscalculated play that if Marisol were somehow to make her way back to corruption. That's not to be mean. That's to be quite flattering towards corruption and respectful of that. If Marisol is allowed to reteam with corruption and Adam Collins as deception, corruption can easily run it back next season, and that is exactly what the other managers don't want to happen. You may think, how can just one player make a difference? It really can't. I really think you guys over in corruption really built something where you guys are really a great unit, and you're like 5 deep, right, with Laura Kelly in there. If you get all of that back together, that is the most cohesive, strong unit in the Schmoedown easily. And there'd be some other things that can rival it potentially, but it won't be nearly as strong. If Kate wants to make a deal, there is honestly at this point, once you get into the draft, there is really there would have to be such a rare thing that I don't even know if I can think of it, where trading picks at that stage actually makes sense, that you're going to somehow get a player better or an extra player that's better at that stage in the draft already. I don't see it happening. If you want an extra pick, no, like where she's at, if you're ahead of Shannon, like you're already going to get a better player than Shannon might if you do your homework right. So, and then the other thing, I'm not finished. The other thing is that this whole, Marisol wouldn't want to play for you. She's loyal to us. This whole thing. Well, you know what? That's the only tactic that corruption has, and I understand it, because it's just not going to be true. Because here's the thing. If Marisol, let's say, goes to let's just say the suspects, okay? It's like, look, Marisol, I understand you prefer to go with corruption, but here's the thing. You're a really good player. We like you. We're glad to have you on our team. Now, here's the deal. You can make this a fun season, or you can make it a miserable season for yourself. I'd rather make it fun for you. So if you want to play ball with us and make the best of your current situation, then you can be a faction member. We can come to all the study sessions, all that, and be a team player. Or you can isolate yourself, be miserable by yourself, and maybe you want to go study with corruption. That's fine by me, because when it comes match time, you're still going to earn points from me. If you want to put all that time with another faction just to earn me points, then so be it. So that's how I see it. That's how I feel.
Okay, if I could,
I'd rather see Marisol on the corruption. That'd be still fun. So
if I could for a moment play devil's advocate with you here, Frankie.
Yeah.
Are you telling me that you think that Marisol is the only person that corruption could take in the first round that would be a successful dominant team with Adam Collins? You're telling me that they couldn't pair Adam Collins with somebody else with first round talent and to make a dominant team?
And that's picking last in that round.
So the first round, the very first round. So
right.
The 8th pick of the first round.
At that stage, when there's already been 24 players already locked up.
So
actually, at that point, almost 30. At that 32 players locked up at that point.
Yeah.
Correct.
Wait, no,
24, isn't it?
No, because it's
the picks in the draft.
I'm sorry.
So
the 32nd player overall.
32nd player, yeah.
My bad. I misunderstood.
I think it's slim. It depends how people draft and who signs. So I mean, we really won't know that for a couple weeks. I think it's still slim. But
you don't think there would be even like a B level player? Because if you put Adam Collins, who is the undefeated singles champion, up with a B level player, you don't think they would be a dominant team?
It's possible, but I already know what we're going to get with Marisol and Adam. They already have that chemistry down. They already have everything worked out. It looks they're a well-oiled machine already, and so you could potentially still find a player that's maybe almost just as good as Marisol, but that doesn't mean they're going to work as efficiently as a team, in my eyes.
I mean, they could get. I mean, I don't know what's been going on in corruption. I haven't been there behind the scenes, but I know
if you have, there's a problem.
I know Shannon has said publicly, or someone has said publicly, that both Clee Wiggins and Claudia Dolph have been contributing to your study sessions. So I would think that Clee Wiggins and Claudia Dolph have been training and improving their game. And myself, having gone head to head with Clee Wiggins, I think Clee Wiggins has, a bright future ahead of her in the Schmoedown if she does put in the kind of effort that the other people in corruption have been putting in. Yeah. And she came in completely flat. Missed one question in the first round, one question in the second round, and then didn't do well in the third round. But this is it's how the ball bounces sometimes.
That's something really I can speak to, because I don't know what they're doing behind the scenes, and that's something Shannon or other managers might know. And they, like I said, they got to do their homework on that stuff, on that part.
You can put Collins. Collins with Clee could have the chemistry, or Collins with like Alonzo Duralde might be available there. Matt Atchity might be available there. You put Collins with a Matt Atchity or an Alonzo Duralde, that's going to be a hell of a team too.
I mean, on paper, the knowledge.
Yeah.
I think.
Those guys are always great on paper.
Yeah. And plus, again, this is we don't know what the
Mark Edward Hoyk, Collins and Mark Edward Hoyk, who. They worked well as a team in the horror free for all. I'm playing devil's advocate, not that saying. I guess in this, by the way, this is a compliment to corruption, because you're saying that blocking Marisol from getting to corruption is the only stop corruption from being good. And what I'm saying is, even if Marisol is blocked from getting to corruption, Adam Collins and whoever the next player is going to be will also be a good team. And by the way, they already have one of the strongest teams in the league with corruption. So I'm just saying
I'm talking about kind of like a known quantity in deception, and then an unknown quantity that's probably going to be pretty good with Adam Collins and whoever else.
But you have to reestablish the camaraderie.
If I can avoid what I know to be true, okay, at least I can win that battle. And the other part of that, it's still up in the air. It's not for sure. It's not. I'm not as certain about that as I would be with a Marisol Adam team again next year.
Well, like even if you ended up with somebody who's a better player, you don't it's not always the parts don't really always equal the whole. Like Founding Fathers as a team underperformed.
I mean, yeah, they have the same punk kid beat him 3 times. Like, yeah. John Rocco let a kid who was like 1/100th of his age beat him 3 times.
Absolutely, that happened.
Well, we all know you're young, Chance, but you're not 5.
Get on. Okay, I'll give you 5 for that one. That's a good one.
And the Founding Fathers are no more.
Yeah,
they are.
Statistically speaking,
I mean, Frankie,
the Founding Fathers, I don't
you.
think should have ever lost a match.
I did formally ask Frankie to alter the stats in the record books. I want it to be changed from what the fuck is their record? Who cares? 6-4, right?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Sounds right. Yeah.
Say they're 6-4. Yeah, I know, right? Sounds wrong, right? I want it to be changed from 6-4 officially, 6-4 to 6 corruption and someone else, I guess.
Touche.
Yeah.
Someone else would be final exam.
Yeah, sure. Someone else, I guess. Whatever. Doesn't matter because corruption is the only one that matters.
So we actually do have a little bit of an announcement. Not next week's stream, but we're doing something this week. In 2 days, actually. And so we're going to do a mock draft on Thursday. So you're going to get to see what's going to happen.
Yeah. After all of this talk, the 4 of us, our core crew.
Mock drafts.
I do love doing mock drafts.
Football and Schmoedown
but,
and anything.
So
wing it and see what sticks.
Each of the 4 of us are going to get 2 teams. We're going to just pull them out of a hat, and we're going to go through it. We're not going to do all 10 rounds. I think we're going to probably do till round 3, so 6 players total. But we're going to do what we think will be the first 6 players of each team.
If it's just 4 of you, like you can get some really stacked teams out of that.
Well, we're going to do 2 teams each. So we're going to.
Oh, okay, I got
We're going to each represent 2 factions.
Yeah, we're going to represent a faction each, and we're going to do it in order. That they're actually going to be drafting. So we're going to try to make it realistic. But the tough part's going to be, the signing keepers and all of that. That's going to be tough to forecast, but we're going to try.
I know one for certain, and it's the you're on, Chance. So, I know.
Oh, yes.
I'm DMing.
The only team with 3 locked players is the one is the one that was locked publicly. So yes, you do know that.
That's it. That's all that I know. I know nothing else. Unless Craig, you got some news for me?
Let's talk about
I don't know. Does anyone have news for me? I don't know.
I did hear through the grapevine that there's going to be this weird outlaw barbarian mashup happening next year. So
that's
I haven't heard anything about that in particular. I'm a free agent. I've been talking to people. I've been talking to players, and I've been talking to managers. I was texting with Winston earlier today. I stopped by and visited Coy during Spectacular. I've been, I'm not locked in or tied to anyone.
Are you and Elvis? Are you and Elvis separate entities?
People have to sign us differently. Yeah, exactly.
So we can just sign the fur.
Yeah, if you want. But he doesn't come with this. He doesn't come with this mane.
You know what? I'm willing to risk it. I think Adam has enough hair for to pair with Elvis.
I would love to challenge Adam to a hair versus hair match. Loser shaves their head. Book it for a live event. Loser gets their head shaved live on stage when we're finally able to have live events again. I mean, clearly
it's a hair exhibition match. It's only
no.
It's like
not
barbershop and beauty shop.
No. We're not talking exhibition matches. We're talking live event headlining hair versus hair match. Now,
okay, it counts towards your record, but all the questions are hair related.
Huh? Yeah, no.
I don't feel like there's enough questions about that.
You'd be surprised.
Me and PLD will place best, and we will shave our mustaches based off of who wins or who loses.
It'd be so weird to see PLD without a mustache.
I know. That's unnatural.
That's unsettling. I hope you lose.
I'm taking Barbarian in that match.
Oh, thank you.
It'd be interesting, and that's the one match I can never compete in because like just Shane Hitch is me getting a haircut. It's just like the whole mistakes would be like it was me versus Christian because he has like an addiction to this now. Me versus Christian, it'd be like an opposite hair match. Like the loser doesn't cut his hair for a year.
That's even better.
I like that.
That's actually
both of these options.
Yeah, I've been pitching to Christian ever since I joined the league that I want to do a hair match against somebody, and I haven't found anyone that's the only person that said they'd be willing to do it so far is Dan Merle.
Yeah, that's a big one.
I'm halfway there.
Yeah, no. But I was telling him about it. He takes off his head. He's like, "I'll get in on that action."
I'm dead.
that tracks.
Yeah.
That's
So great was that dungeon promo the other day with
with gold.
Brandon Hanna.
But now, can I say real quick though? When is that Brandon Hanna going to get a haircut? That hippie.
Also fast.
challenge him to a match.
Down to do a hair match.
Yeah,
There we go. I like that
Problem
one.
he
solved.
wants to get into singles and teams.
There you go.
I mean, look, I it looks like kind of learning like nothing from this season. Like you're doubling down on IG again when that literally just failed for you the season prior. And I was
I mean,
looking right back at it.
It looked like that was about him trying to sign Merle.
I do see
Who isn't
Hannah
gonna
coming
try
in
to
with a
find Merle?
vengeance.
Everyone.
Yeah,
Why
everyone.
would you not?
Dagnino's not going to try to sign Merle, apparently.
Well, yeah, maybe not.
Well, I mean, yeah, he didn't. But he didn't show up to the match. Be weird. It's like you know what? I'm sorry, Dan. It's just like it's like when Stanley Kowalski comes back to get Stella. Just like I'm sorry, baby. Just come back. It's gonna be different this time.
Frank, do you have the numbers on Merle versus Roca with faction points? Is that something you have accessible? Because, I mean, obviously, like, as soon as the Dagnino, Merle, Roca whole thing happened at the end of Spectacular, we all knew this was Christian-led spectacle wrestling. Like, this was all... But I can't imagine the people in the chat that are like, why would Dagnino throw away Merle?
Have you met Dagnino?
And it's like...
I mean,
But at the same time, it's like so ridiculous.
Am I
Wait,
forgetting?
what do you want to know about the points?
He had 14 points because he had he won 3 title matches, so that's 4 points each, and then he technically it was like 13 and a half because it was
12 and a half.
Games.
Right, because
he had 12 points from the match from the singles matches.
He had 11 points from singles.
No, he would have gotten. Oh wait! No, he had more than that. He had 15 points in singles because he won the triple threat, so that's 3 points or 2 points.
that was
There we go. He had 4. There we go. Hold on a second. Yeah, all right, Frankie. You know that. There's a reason you're Frankie Numbaz and I'm not. Okay? You're Frankie Numbaz and I'm the Barbarian. You.
Not Barbarian.
I was told there'd be no math. Okay.
But like people being shocked at like Tom
2
dumping Dan.
points from that triple threat, and then 3 title match.
Right.
Well, wait.
3, so 9
Guys.
for the title matches, plus 2 for the singles match, puts him at 11, plus 1.5 points from the team's
Switching
tournament
power.
match, puts him at 12.5 points. Just like Frankie Numbaz said the very first time he was asked this question. Okay.
Yeah.
I like that we
Carry the 5.
Roca had 4.5 if you're looking for comparison there.
4.5 points.
Yeah. If you're also looking to compare, Riley had 10 points on the year.
Really?
How many did I have?
Yeah.
How many Bateman?
Oh, Barbarian, you had 13.
There you go. Then how many did Bateman have?
Bateman, let me see here.
2.
8.
Oh boy, he had 4.
4. Oh shit!
4 total.
Forgot about the who's the boss match.
Yeah.
Boss, Odd Couple, and Bateman.
Yeah, Bateman guy.
Bateman
Yeah.
guy.
Bateman guy, by the way, I know a lot of people hate on that match. That shit was funny as hell.
Sure.
That was
That was a
Yeah,
match.
I'm the only person with that opinion. I know, but
I mean,
that was
look,
entertaining.
the problem with that match was just a confluence of circumstances, because Guy's questions that he missed, he wasn't missing because he was doing a bit. He was just like just a hair off on a couple of those. And he got flipped on the which character from Rounders, who was Matt Damon or Edward Norton. He got flipped on, although I mean,
there's a lot of coin flips.
Exactly. Although I will say, as someone who was in college when Rounders was a big thing and had a weekly poker game where Rounders was on in the background every single week, I definitely knew that Edward Norton was Worm.
Rounders was what, 96?
97?
98.
really? 98.
98, yeah.
Yep.
Because one was mid-90s.
Yeah. 96 was when Norton hit the screen with Primal
Fear. That's right.
Wait, was Rounders 98?
Probably makes sense. I mean, makes sense.
Yeah. Rounders 98. Norton did Primal Fear in 96. Then he did American History X in,
I think, also 98.
98 also, yeah, right. Yeah.
On that note, there was this guy as we were cleaning my uncle's apartment, my friend's uncle's apartment.
No, next question.
Really old guy that looked like Ed Norton walked up to us and said he was gonna go full Incredible Hulk on some people, and I was like, "That's crazy because you look like old Edward Norton." Anyways, all right, continue.
So that's what Edward Norton is doing these days,
and that's what happens when we get kicked off a franchise.
I mean, look, I watched Collateral Beauty recently, and I feel like that would be a better use of his time than doing another Collateral Beauty. So,
I mean, yes, and Collateral Beauty is not a good use of anybody's time.
That was a movie.
Barely.
Yeah. Remember when we had things like AMC A-List and we could just go and see things like that, and it wasn't really penalizing us on anything besides our time?
Yeah. I mean, that's like I saw Countdown because of AMC A-List. I remember that.
Y'all need to make better choice with your AMC A-List.
I mean, you have the option. Might as well use it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
If you've seen everything else, like, okay.
Yeah, you're not losing anything.
I will regret seeing.
I'll go see Holmes and Watson and walk out 10 minutes in.
Oh, you walked out?
I love Holmes.
I made it.
I will defend Holmes and Watson.
Really?
It was a dumb movie, but it was dumb fun.
There's the one.
We found it. We found the one.
Yep.
I love the trailer for Holmes and Watson.
Do you? I didn't even like that. Like,
the trailer worked, but the movie didn't. It's like right up there with Welcome to Marlin. With the trailer's good, but the movie is trash for me.
I won't say it's a good movie. I just say
I will not say anything like subjective, objective. But
in my opinion, Will Ferrell can do no wrong, and so anytime I get a chance to see Will Ferrell do comedy in a film, excuse me,
okay,
I will take it.
And I respect that.
Please don't.
Yeah. Now, I took my entire family to see Holmes and Watson over Christmas the year it came out, and they all hated it. But and they were all mad at me for making them go see it. But I had a good time.
So I'm going to be missing my first.
They all hated it.
I'm going to be missing my first Christmas Day movie since 2006. It's been a tradition with me and my mom every year since I was 16.
To the movies on Christmas, people. That's what
I'm sorry.
Well, why not?
At the movie theater on Christmas.
It was a family tradition ever since the first time. It was a family tradition since the first time. It was just she and I on Christmas. I have two older siblings. They were living halfway across the country. And it turned into a tradition. I'm sorry. I know that there are theater workers there. I became more cognizant of that as an adult. But this is the first time since 2006 I won't be seeing a movie on Christmas Day. And the last two that I saw, these are always with family. Last year was Uncut Gems.
Oh.
The year before that was The Mule. So those are movies I saw with family, with my mom on my left side every time.
In 2015, we did a double feature on Christmas Day of The Hateful Eight and The Revenant. Oh. And it was It was 6 hours of just being really, really cold.
Yeah,
It
my
was
God,
both
that-
Yeah,
those
but those
movies-
landscapes, I mean, breathtaking.
Movies come out.
Those are bad, but how many threesome scenes did Clint Eastwood have in those movies?
How many? What,
And was your mom there?
No, but my
Yeah.
mother-in-law was there. So my mother-in-law got to sit with us and watch Leonardo DiCaprio be mounted by a bear.
But not sexually.
Come on.
You know, what he's good. Are you also going to tell me that Rudy Giuliani wasn't trying to open his pants and Borat?
Yeah. You make a good point.
I mean, look, like he didn't
Yeah.
have sex. He didn't have sex with that bear, but he had sex with that bear. We all know.
I'm
No,
just
the
saying,
bear
it's,
had
you know,
sex
you,
with
you
him.
judge for yourself what that bear did. I'm just saying.
There's a difference.
It's like John Travolta's sexuality. Like we all know he's not gay, but we all know he's gay. Like it's the thing we just know.
You?
Travolta.
Oh, I thought you said John Boyd. I was
Yeah.
like, John Boyd.
I thought
For a second, I thought you did too. Like, wait, no, that's
Travolta, look, I'm not gonna speak out of line about anybody's personal hats. I don't want to.
I'm not judging him. I'm just
I let
like an obvious
Gucci
thing.
speak about John Travolta.
I was at the Foo Fighters concert. He wandered on stage, and it was amazing.
Wait, who did?
Travolta wandered on stage during a Foo Fighters concert.
Of course
And
he
they
did.
said, "You're the one that I want," and he just walked out and he did the Pulp Fiction like look around. It was fantastic.
You know what I'll say about John Travolta? I love that John Travolta and Samuel
Fanatic.
Jackson are reuniting for that Capital One
Oh, the
commercial.
Capital One commercials.
John
Oh, that was
Travolta,
beautiful.
it's the Pulp Fiction sequel we never knew was coming.
I
John
have a
Travolta
feeling.
Radical.
I have a feeling they wanted Uma for Mrs. Claus, but she said no, or she was busy.
Right. She had dignity. She was busy having dignity.
You know what? It's funny. I'm thinking of this, and this is like it's a really random tangent I want to go on real quick. I was showing before Once Upon a Hollow came out. I was showing my brother and sister like old Tarantino movies before they saw this. They hadn't seen any of them, and we put on Kill Bill, and like it was seen in the van. My sister just like looked at me with them, like, look at her hands, because she had like those like big ass like man hands and like super long fingers. And it's like we were making fun of it with her for like 20 years, but it's good that you're noticing these things. I'm proud of you, Kitty.
I love me some Tarantino and Uma Thurman crossover. So it's
I'd rather put that in IG than fucking Twilight. Or
I
Happy
can
for next
see
season.
a case for putting Tarantino on IG.
Yeah, but he's got his own
depending on
role.
what's being admitted. Like, I would put that over the line before certain other franchises.
I'm perfectly
I
fine.
talk about what's on the table. I talk about what's on the table, but I'm just like, I don't think I can. I don't think I'm at liberty to discuss.
Yeah, apparently we're not allowed to discuss, even though I accidentally started discussing something because I thought we were allowed because it was brought up publicly on the Facebook channel. But apparently apparently it was brought up because somebody went out of line to post something online, and so I'm going to nip that in the bud. But one thing I'll say is from the list I have seen. I'm mostly happy with it. There's only a couple things I would nitpick on it, and it's not about. And I would say there's not a single film itself that I would say shouldn't be on there. But there's a few things I would nitpick. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
Chance?
I don't. Yeah, like of the ones I've seen, I don't think there are any that there's none that point out and say like they shouldn't be on there. But there's one that point out and say like I don't want to watch this ever again. And
I don't think
I'm gonna
any
say-
of you
I'm
should
gonna
ever
say-
have
I'm
to
gonna say you
watch
don't.
Return of the Swamp Thing ever.
That's already on the list.
Yeah, I know it's already on the list. I just think none of you should have to watch it.
You know what I watched for the first time recently, which was fantastic, was Steel. I texted Chance while I was watching it. I was like, "Oh my god!"
Oh, you did, yeah.
I was like, "This
You
is
just
amazing."
watched it.
Oh my god, it's so good. They have
Steel's
so many
magic.
jokes about Shaq missing free throws. Oh my god,
There's so many.
Yeah, like no, there's little.
like a major plot.
There
hole.
are more
like
fourth
Shaq.
wall breaks in Steel than Deadpool.
I have
Like-
so many
Yeah.
steel toy action figures of Shaq. not here at my parents, for like one Christmas, like one little like Shaquille O'Neal steel toy was bought, and my brother was like, "That's awesome." He's like 2, and for the next like 6 years, all of my parents got us were steel action figures. So I got like 50
Your
of them
parents are awesome.
that I will.
Oh yeah, no.
up
So you're the guy. No, yeah, like it's funny. Like the free throw joke is coming at the end, where like they're in like this like it's Steel and Little Ray J. They're in like this like room. It's on fire, and like the bad guy throws a grenade in there, and it's like you gotta throw it out there. Just like I never make these, and then the whole thing is like he spends like 2 minutes like showing how to shoot a free. It's a grenade. They're just like grenade will take us long to blow up. What are you doing, movie? What are you doing?
Before that, it was like either 2 or 3 times before that he had missed a free throw. Like the first one was like,
Right.
like early in the movie, he's like walking by a basketball court and like the ball rolls to his feet and he grabs it and shoots it and just like whiffs by a mile.
And then every time it just
Yeah.
Oh, and then at the
No,
very
honestly,
end,
like
he has to take the free
Steel's
throw to
very
save the day. Oh, I love
Steel's super bad, but I actually like legitimately enjoy watching that movie. I think it's just the fact that he lives in a junkyard that looks like a go-kart track.
Steel is like
that's
what,
a movie.
I feel like Steel is the movie that Catwoman wishes it were.
I'll watch.
Steel,
Catwoman's
Steel has just enough tongue-in-cheekness that the campiness actually works for it, whereas Catwoman is a tire fire.
It's also tangentially related in Superman the same way Catwoman is to Batman. They're tangentially related enough in name alone. Aside from that, no, there's no connection to the prior source material.
The only actual reference to Superman or like any superheroes at all in the movie is that Steel has a Superman tattoo.
Yeah. Well, and then it's not necessarily based off of, the comics.
It's based off of Steel. It's based off the comic Steel, but they make no reference.
Kinda. But it's kind of based in the same way that Catwoman is based in the comics, but
it's much different. It's like they invented an entirely new Catwoman. This isn't like that wasn't even Selena Kyle and Catwoman.
Yeah. Okay. What did you guys feel about like a midquill? Like between Catwoman and Cats, where Halle Berry actually becomes a cat, like, and you do it like a horror movie, like The Fly.
God damn it!
That was going to be the discussion on the next podcast.
I just made everybody.
On that note, Juice.
But why don't we say what we're actually doing next week? Why don't we say what we're
actually doing and wrap up here this evening, because there's no way that we can top whatever the hell AJ just suggested.
It works. It works.
Next week, we're doing a holiday special on holiday specials.
Oh, God.
With Rachel Silverstreet.
I will be talking about Charles in Charge. FYI.
How many blank saves Christmas specials are we talking? Because so many people say Christmas.
Ooh. Kiss, obviously.
Kiss saves Christmas.
Medea didn't save Christmas. It was just a Medea.
It was just her Christmas.
Man and She-Ra holiday special.
He does own it on DVD, so.
Medea Christmas was the first Christmas movie I watched this holiday season. I was like, you know what? Yes.
Really? That was the one?
Get it out of the way.
Praise Greg.
Hey, you know what? We got a Tyler Perry wheel slice, people.
Yeah. You gotta do your due diligence. All right, well, we're gonna wrap up here in just a minute, but
let's give everyone a chance to say what they're up to.
To shout out what you're up to. Frankie, where can we find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram at FrankieJ29 and the Schmoedown Rundown every Saturday on the SEN Network. Boom.
Work. That was beautiful.
Love it.
Craig,
That works.
Yeah. What are you up to? What you doing?
Well, people can find me on the Twitter at Barbarian Craig. people can find me on Twitch on those for the next 2 Fridays. I'll be doing the Video Drew karaoke on Twitch. Twitch.tv/Video Drew is where she live streams it, and then I sometimes will broadcast myself doing my versions of it on twitch.tv/mogwai417. And I can also be found on Instagram with just the handle CF Gagne, C as in Craig, F as in Frank. Gagne is in the French word to win, Gaynier, because all I do is win. And
unless you play me, which you do not.
And one last thing I would say, going back to Amadea Christmas, the male lead in the film is played by Blake Lively's brother, Eric Lively. I had no idea that she had a brother or that he was an actor until I watched this film.
That is a fun fact, because I did not know that until you just said it.
Fantastic.
Chance, where can we find you?
Twitter, Instagram at ChanceWars_91. Check out my podcast, Notorious by Chance. This week, actually dropping tomorrow, I think either tomorrow or Thursday. We're dropping our first Christmas episode. We reviewed the Mel Gibson film Fat Man, which he plays Santa. Not only that, we got to talk to the directors of the movie. We did a whole interview. We did a whole interview with them and Ian and Escher Nelm. Super cool guys. We shot that today. That will be out within the next 2 days. It's one of our better episodes, so I'd highly recommend you guys go check it out.
Is Lord Cutler Beckett in it?
Lord Cutler Beckett's not in this week. No,
Count me out there.
we've exhausted all our Lord Cutler Becketts.
Damn it!
Last March,
we'll make another Pirates movie, and there will be more time.
And he's back.
Sorry for everyone involved, but this is a big joke with us.
All right, guys. So I think that's the show for the night.
What
Cheers.
the show? Salute. Love y'all.
Outro music.